Could you imagine being at the edge of a pool, your heart racing, your breath shallow, your mind flashing back to every bad water experience that you ever had? I have my list of them. Could you
Mm-hmm.
imagine that?
Uh-huh. I can. For some adults, swimming isn't just about learning the strokes. It's about facing a fear that's been lurking for decades.
Our guest today has built her life's work around helping adults heal from that fear, but only that, how to manage it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And she believes that swimming is 80% mental
Hmm.
and 20% physical. And her methods transform more than just your relationship with water, they can change your relationship with yourself.
I'm Naty,
I'm Veda.
and we are here to thrive.
Yes, we are. Welcome back to Thrive by the Rising Muse.
Welcome.
And where we explore conversation that inspires, empowers, and supports your mental well-being. And today we are diving, yes,
Pun
intended, we are diving into the incredible world of adult swim education with a twist.
Yeah, our guest, Cory Mika, is the founder of Within Adult Swim and Orca Swim School.
Mhm.
She's been teaching adults to swim for over 20 years, but here's the thing. She's not just teaching the technique, she's teaching people how to overcome lifelong fears, rewire their thinking, and create a calm, confident relationship with water. Her philosophy blends mindfulness, somatic practices, life coaching, and swimming into one transformative experience.
And today we're going to unpack her journey, her methods, and the life-changing results her students experience. Welcome to the show, Cory.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
All right, let's dive in because I need to know.
Get in the picture.
Now, let's just make sure if we're diving in that we're diving in deep water so we don't hit our heads. I'm just going to say
I
that.
love it.
Uh-huh. Yes. You started teaching swimming at about the age of 14, am I correct? Around that age?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. No, that's probably when I was formally doing it.
Well, when did you realize that you want to focus on specifically adults with fear of water?
That came much later, although I can remember my first adult that I taught when I was a teenager. I think she planted a seed of curiosity in me because I realized with her, geez, something's different, something special about working with adults. And the story that she told me about not learning to swim because she was a girl and told that girls weren't allowed to do physical activities like that. And so that piqued my curiosity at that time. But I didn't really focus on it till much later when we opened our own swim school and we started attracting adults because we were better than average with kids. So we were better than average with adults, and they'd come out and I'd get them to swim across the pool, doing all the things they're supposed to do with their arms and legs. And I'd say, "How was it?" And they'd have this deer in the headlight looks and say, "I don't know." And I thought, all right, I am missing something here. They're following the directions. They're good students. They're doing the things. If somebody saw them, they'd be like, "That's a front crawl. Look at that person swimming." But there was missing something elemental that they did not feel like a swimmer. They did not feel safe. They were disconnected from what was happening. And that's what they kept asking me for, really. They didn't have the words for it. But when they kept coming back and saying, "Yeah, I can do it, but I don't feel like a swimmer," that's when I really started to change what we were doing and focus more on the adults.
About the moment you discovered the miracle swimming for adults method and how it changed your approach.
Sure. So we belong to swim associations, and that's how I came across that method. And that's where I really got the insight to swimming isn't just about the physical motions, but it's about the spiritual and emotional connection to the body. So the brain and body connection. It's not just arms and legs flapping around in the water. It's how do I take care of my nervous system, my presence of mind? And so that's, really started to get me to inquire about, generally, I'd say mindfulness. At that time, somatic healing wasn't really a term that was thrown around so much then, but mindfulness and somatic work.
To swim when Jill was 1. She's 40 now.
So you were an adult.
So I was in the adult class and she was in the baby class. And even though I passed my swimming class, I never felt comfortable in the water.
I never took a swimming class. I don't know if I'm a swimmer. I know I can get from point A to point B in a pool. I know I can get from point A to point B in a pool, but I don't consider myself a swimmer. I mean, if the baby's in the pool and
you know, a lot can happen between point A and B, okay?
No, I know how to get to one,
it's just not smooth.
I don't know. Well, I don't do it like a doggy. I kind of stretch legs. And when Mason was in swim class, I watched a lot, so I've kind of improved the technique trying to teach him to practice. I never took formal lessons, so God only knows all the bad habits that I would have to kick if I had to go to a class.
True. That is.
Well, I would say the biggest bad habit that isn't your fault, it's even, comes in from watching those swimming lessons. I mean, both of you said it's about point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, point B can be variable. And if you are always predicating your idea of safety on getting to a destination, that means you can never be safe where you are.
Exactly.
And that is the biggest key to all of this, is that we have to have safety residing and coming from within ourselves and be in calm control and presence of ourselves. And then point B is a variable. It's for fun. But if you're thinking, I have to get there in order to be safe, your experience of swimming, that's why people don't feel like a swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Back to my students, I can get them across the pool. They don't feel like a swimmer.
Right.
Because they don't know how to stop. They don't know how to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a desperation to, I got to make it there.
Right.
And that feels terrible. Yeah, or I'm going to drown.
Also, swimming in a pool is totally different than swimming in the ocean. Like the whole idea of waves moving and stuff.
Yeah.
At least, I don't know, maybe in deeper doesn't move as much as close. I don't know. But you would know more than me in that sense. But because the water looks more calm when you're in a cruise in the middle of the ocean than the movement that it is at the beach. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, because I had an experience when I was a kid. Well, a wave just got me and I just got tossed left and right. I thought I was on the other side of the beach and it just tossed me to the shore. But I was like, I remember, there was this little like piece of island like in the middle of it. I thought I was over there because it just tumbled me and got me out. And now I was just right next to my mama. Everything tossed me. But so yeah, I have my own carefulness with the ocean because
okay, both of us have fear of the water. Okay,
not in the pool, but in the ocean. Oh, I'm very careful because it's very. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Where do I stay?
What do you mean? Oh no, you wet
when
your
we
feet.
Go to the ocean.
You wet your feet and you keep it.
I wet my feet, go back and sit in my chair. I'm like, okay.
Well, and I go, maybe up to my waist so that the baby feels like he's deep. And that's it, because I have to make sure that if a wave comes, I can catch him and catch me out.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. You can tell the joke about being a turtle.
Mm-hmm. Cory, tell us this.
Oh, you don't want to say that one.
Okay. The 80% mental and the 20% physical phase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So can you break that down to what it means? In the practice for new students?
Sure. So, I mean, the simplest way I think about this is think about how you start a race. You say, get ready, get set, and go. Mm-hmm. Mental, physical. There's this preparation that we have to do. This get ready is grounding yourself right here and right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I'm already out in the middle of the ocean, but in truth, I'm standing next to a swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
The brain takes you to all these future or past or what ifs and doesn't allow you to be present to what is. So that's our first thing, is we have to really fully get present. And some of that has to do with our story and the way we talk, and there can be a lot more into it. But it's really just about grounding ourselves right now. Right now, can I get air? Right now, am I safe? Great. So then I can go the second step, get ready and get set. So I'm thinking about where I want to go, the direction I want to head. So if I'm standing next to the pool and my intention is to get into the water, okay, so I want to step in. But how do I want to feel when I step in? Do I want to then feel like, oh, I can't get air, or I have to do all the things, or now I have to do everything? No, probably not. I want to feel calm. I want to feel confident. Right? So I have to stay attached to how I want to feel. I don't just like get in and hope that I'm going to feel good when it's over. I have to bring it with me right now. This is where confidence comes from. If I want to feel calm confidence, I have to take it with me.
And that takes me to exactly my next question. How do you get someone to go from panic to calm when they're trying to learn how to swim, or when they're experiencing those feelings as they are swimming?
Yeah. So the key is we have to start people with a good foundation. So I don't want to start them when they're in panic. I mean, if they're in panic, then it's my job just to get them out
Mm-hmm.
and get them, make sure they're physically safe so they can emotionally calm down. Because once you're in that panic state, right, you need a little help. So the key is to teach people to pay attention to their emotional well-being in their journey. Because usually what we do is we get to a situation and you're like, well, I feel nervous. Okay, whatever. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. But we have to listen to that, because the more we allow ourselves to act from an anxious place, the faster it is that we zip to panic. So being able to pay attention the whole time, and that's really the goal. People think the goal is how to move my arms and legs, but the goal really is how to pay attention to my emotional well-being and my emotional reaction. When I can be in control of that, then I can understand how the water works. I can understand how my body and the water work together. And I am now in charge. You can never be in charge of buoyancy, but you can be in charge of whether or not you're going to panic. Then you can react in a way that's useful in the water.
So that is the comfort first. You
Yes.
teach comfort first before they
Mm-hmm.
even take a stroke in the water.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, before we got on, you were talking about your little one who zips around, right? You don't start the morning saying, okay, you have to sit very still and work on math problems,
Mm-hmm.
because, it's a disaster,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're like, no, I need to meet you where you are. You need to get for that child needs to get their energy moving,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can slow down and do a little something. And then they need to get their energy moving again, right? So we have to meet people where they are. They have to come into where they are right now, take that emotional charge, and then we can literally and figuratively dip our toe into the next step.
Well, I remember my swim coach teacher was a Marine. We were on the military base.
Does that scare me?
He did not. He didn't care how I felt.
I was gonna
He
say.
Mhm.
I was afraid. He knew it because he had to hold my arm interlocking when we did the final jump in the pool, in the deep part. If I die, you gonna. And I was holding on to his arm tightly.
So, did you learn how to swim?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've never seen you swimming.
Right. Because I'm not comfortable with the water.
Because we've been in a pool, but I've never, but you stay like near the edges. I've never seen you swimming.
But it came in handy when Leslie was 2,
Yeah,
and
the
we
kids
were
were two.
going down the Chattahoochee River in the
That's
rapids.
right.
And he loved water, just leaning over him, holding on to him, and somehow he jumps out into the water. The only thing I could think about is I got to get my baby.
Yeah.
So I jump into the water and I'm holding him up. I didn't know if I was praying he was above water. My husband and my daughter were coming around and he said he sees our son up in the air.
Don't know where the wife is?
Like they did on the Lion King holding him up. And I was underwater. And so he grabbed him and I got back in. I did not start shaking until I got back in my raft. And I guess it hit me what I just did. And thank God I did take a class because if I hadn't, I'd be in a raft screaming, "Help me get my baby." So it worked.
But like I said, that's kind of, we were talking about my turtle experience 2 years ago or a year ago. I don't remember. I think it was, no, it was 1 year ago.
Okay.
So, because it was not this July, the July before. We went to the beach and he had a life jacket. So I know he could float. My concern was not so much him drowning. See, that's what I'm telling you. You tell the story because he was so funny to you. And I didn't want him to be scared of the water. And like I said, we were not in too deep because I didn't go too deep. But a big wave came and knocked us out, even though I was like this. So I went into my knees, and my brain was, let him not feel like he's drowning. But I was underwater because I was on my knees, and I had him like this by the life jacket. Now, her and my other sister were outside the water, seeing me struggle with the baby like that, laughing.
And I was taking pictures.
And she tells my sister, they're fine. If somebody drowns, it's gonna be her. She's gonna make sure he doesn't drown. And they're having this conversation and laughing. I know I'm gonna be fine. I know once the water recedes, I'm gonna be able to stand up. Again, my only issue was I didn't want him to be fear of the water because it was his first time at the beach. So
he has no fear of water, I promise you.
No. And when he finally stood up, he's laughing and he's fine. And as I'm getting out of the water with him, a lady stops me and said, I know you almost drowned there, but those two ladies were laughing at you. I said, those are my sisters. Yeah, those are my sisters. And when I get over there, they're almost dying laughing. Said, you look like you had a turtle. The water.
Yolanda says, should we help her? I said, no, she'll be
fine. These are my people.
I'm here for you.
I know you are. He has no fear of the water.
No fear of water.
He took about 4 months of swimming this year, and hopefully by September he'll be back in swim classes. Yeah. He loves it. He loves it. Yeah. But the ocean for me, it's a whole different story. So I just wanted to make sure that when that thing hit us, it wouldn't scare him. So like I said, I went on my knees and I just grabbed my little turtle.
She had to have therapy, but he's fine.
That's great.
My therapy was the betrayal of my sisters laughing at me.
Sorry, darling.
Well, I'm glad you guys all made it through those things because, I mean, the double drownings is actually a very common thing from just what you said, that we'll do anything for our kids. And and I'm glad that you guys are here to laugh about it and to tell the story because unfortunately that's not always the case. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Miss Cory.
On that cheery note.
Right?
On that cheery note, can you share a story where lessons in the water directly impacted someone's life outside the pool?
Oh my gosh, the number of times that I've heard people say something like, I took my swim lesson and then I quit my job, or I broke up that relationship, or because it's transformative, because it's this thing when people have been holding on to something fearful that you can look around and see, well, there's other people who are just as smart or capable or whatever, like there's nothing special about other people versus me. But yet I can't do it. And then you transform in that way to be like, oh my gosh, I'm a swimmer. I mean, and so that transformative moment is empowering, right? You get empowered in one area, it empowers you in other areas. The other thing is that we're teaching people how to truly listen to themselves and learn how to trust themselves, how to slow down, tune in, and take care of themselves. And that's the only way that it really can work to feel like a swimmer. It can work to do what the Marine tells you to do, and you might functionally do it, but you don't feel it, right? It's not necessarily transformative for you. So, having people have an experience where they get to work on how do I build from the inside out in an environment that's very different from my day to day life.
Mhm.
It gives them courage and strength to go out in other areas of their lives to, like, all right, I'm going to slow down and think about what I really want to be doing with my life. Or do I really want, this relationship or things like that, for
I like
sure.
what you call it, laugh for life.
Mm.
That lets us know that you go deeper,
Mhm.
deeper than the physical. And it's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the spiritual. And I'm just going to have to learn how to have peace in the water.
Well, one of the things that I like about the things that she teaches, and we had that conversation, is that it's just like a template for life. If you are learning how to be confident and mindful and peaceful in this activity that could be dangerous if you don't do it right, you can get the confidence to do, like she was saying, transform your life, other things in life. If you learn how to control your emotions, to not be afraid of swimming, how can I control my emotions on my anxiety or in traffic or when I'm having an argument or in a meeting, or in how something that you may not connect, but it actually teaches you how to translate this into other areas of your
Mm-hmm.
life. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that is amazing to me.
It is. It is amazing.
Yeah. And I'd say we can say it's overcoming fear, but it's also just about developing a relationship with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you oftentimes, actually, a lot of people don't even want to identify as being
Mm-hmm.
fearful. And they kind of like push that identity away. But, it's useful to be fearful of stepping out onto the middle of the freeway, right? It's useful to be
Right.
fearful of fire,
Right.
right? Fear is very useful,
Right.
but it's fear that prevents you from engaging, fear that prevents you from being willing to experience life.
Right.
That's the kind of fear that's not useful for us.
That's the paralyzing that
Parallel,
keeps you
yes,
from
yeah.
moving forward. Yeah.
So how does mindfulness and somatic awareness can help us to stay present and avoid panic?
Well, I just mentioned the fire
The
one.
fire
This
part.
is one that people have in their everyday life, right?
Mhm.
That the way that you approach a fire, you don't just shove your hand into it. When you're a little kid, you might shove your hand into it because you don't have good impulse control.
Right.
And then you learn very quickly that's a bad idea. So to be able to heal that is to be able to then tell the story that says, all right, it's okay that I stuck my hand in the fire the one time. I got that information that that's not a good idea for my body. If we blame ourselves, if we shame ourselves, if we dramatize that story that all fire is bad and you can never deal with it,
Mhm.
right? That's what gets in your way.
Right.
Slowing down and saying, "Oh yeah, I had that experience. I understand that a little bit. Now I'm going to stick my hand close to the fire. I'm going to feel, I'm going to see, slow down and take in the physical sensations of the fire." And I find out, yeah, I can put my hand pretty darn close to the fire and it feels good and it's helpful when I have frostbite hands or something, right? It's very useful. So I developed that trusting relationship with it by slowing down and feeling. I think that's where that mindfulness and that somatic part is in there, of slowing down and taking in information and noticing, okay, when I feel the warmth of that fire, do I go up to this story that says, "You're terrible around fire. You burned your hand that one time"? That's not useful. That it creates an emotional experience that doesn't build your confidence. So we have to mind that story that we're telling ourselves. Slow that story down. Oh no, it's just, I'm actually feeling it. This is good. This is good. I'm getting that information.
Can you explain how this is different from simple desensi? I always get.
Desensitization.
Thank you. I get stuck with that word.
I mean, it's very similar,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think when you think of desensitization, you're just like repeatedly exposing yourself to
Mm-hmm.
something. So it's not just repeat, because you can repeatedly expose yourself to something
Mm-hmm.
and cause trauma,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
right? We do this in our brain all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When we retell a traumatic story over and over again, it reinforces that way of being. It reinforces those neural pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a matter of exposing ourselves, but it's a matter of also minding our mind
Mm-hmm.
and how we're relating to the exposure
Mm-hmm.
and being curious about all the things that are going into that relationship to the exposure.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like what she said, minding the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we just say, oh, okay. But in order for us to be successful, we have to mind our minds, which means that we have to listen and feel and examine, you know. And we walk around with a lot of fear,
Mm-hmm.
life
Mm-hmm.
fear, see stuff on TV or whatever, and you get fearful about it, is it going to happen to me? But I'm thankful that there are ways that we can work away from the fear where it doesn't control our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're fearful and you're in the water, believe me, your fear is stronger than what you're doing in that water. So we have to teach ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. Our minds are incredibly powerful and incredibly useful and incredibly harmful. You
I
know,
had never heard it that way, but you're absolutely right.
yeah. Um, this is where that somatic part is really important. Is if we're just talking coaching, let's say, or therapeutic, a mental model, we think minding our mind is like talking ourselves out of it, telling another story, which can be a part of it, but we're still residing in this theoretical
Mm-hmm.
existence. Having a practice that equally then has you literally feel your fingertips, like takes you out of the mental and into the body. It actually takes you to a different part of your brain. And we need that full stop, that full reset, because we can just spin and spin and spin on the thought side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we use the thought side of things to be curious and investigative, but we have to have that balance of the somatic part, the actual
Theory.
practice of slowing into our sensations of our body.
Cory, tell us about that wounded child that you address in the adults, and how do you make the environment safe for them?
Yeah. Because the wounded child, I mean, we all are coming in. Another way of saying that is with that story, the thing from the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes it's getting new perspective
Mm-hmm.
on that story. A lot of, in terms of the aquatic environment, a lot of things that have happened to people as children, right? To understand you're not a child anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And things like this do happen to children. And I'm sorry
Mm-hmm.
that you experienced it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another side of it too. There's a power too that comes through on some of these stories. And so we want to honor that side of it too. And whatever it is for that particular person, right? For them finding what their power is in it too. And then the piece, like when we first get into the pool, I ask people, they've paid their money, they've showed up, they've done all the things. And I say, before we get into the water, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to get in? And it's like, well, of course I want to get in. Look, I did all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I should get in. I would be failure if I didn't get in. I'm like, no. We want to ask that quietest, most tender part of yourself, that perhaps that wounded child part. Is she ready to get in? Give her some space to be able to say, yeah, I'm ready. Or to say, no, I'm not ready. I'm still afraid. This is too much. And when we give that space to hear that, either then we can give love to her and say, it's okay. We don't have to yet. It's okay. And sometimes that's enough for people to actually be ready, because that part of you knows you're going to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take care of it. You're not going to shove it aside still. Or that little place has a question, right? She just has this question that needs to be answered. And when we give her that space, she then can, whisper it to us, whatever it is. And then we can take care of that question and really honor what she needs, or he, if it's boy. But yeah.
That is so comforting.
Oh,
I'm not even in water, and I'm like,
I told you it translates to other areas.
It does.
So you do retreats from Seattle to Maui. It has to be so much fun. How do they differ from your regular swim lesson?
Well, right off the bat, our classes are 3 hours long.
In those retreats?
In the retreat, all of our class, like any of our group classes, they're 3 hours. I know. And people are like, 3 hours in the water? What are we talking about here? But we do this because we spend some time on land, because as adults, you need to understand the mental side of things. Children, they don't need it as much because of their brain development. But adults, we have to take them through those steps. So that's part of it. And then in our lessons, we have this generous amount of time because we don't want anybody to feel pressured. And we want people to have enough time to be able to act with curiosity and to repeat something many times right then, to not feel like, okay, well, I put my face in the water. All right, check, did that. Now what do we do? All right, now I got to move my arm. Right. No. I want somebody to be able to put just their lips in the water and experience calmness. And then be invited to well, I'm really curious now to put my nose in the water too. Because I know how to hold my breath and be in control and stay present. Okay, that was great too, right? And we have to have generous space for people to move with their internal curiosity instead of our external push. And then we're spending time working in different areas too. So you spend a little time in this area, and then you spend a little time in that area, and a little time in this area. And then people want to go back to the first area, right? We're generous with that space because that's how I think really authentic learning happens, that it isn't just linear. And so we need that space for people to be able to come and go and push and pull and put things together and take them apart and play, have a good time with it.
So those are your regular classes.
Those are our regular classes.
So what additional things happen on the retreats?
So on the retreats, really depends on which retreat you're talking about. We've got a couple different kinds that we do. So when we go to Hawaii, we have two different ones that we do. We do a learn to swim. So it's basically what I was just talking about there. And we also do a learn to swim in the ocean. So we're doing two different. Really how we use the retreats is for people to have a focused, concentrated time to be able to do that one thing. So you're not jamming it in the middle of your week of all this other stuff, right? So you're having concentrated time. And we're really working with people on their foundational information. And so when we do it in a compact format over a couple of days, people get a ton of information, a ton of experience and rest and things like that to be able to really make a big shift. So those are our learn to swim retreats, are always sort of done that.
Technically speaking, what's the biggest difference between swimming in a pool and swimming in the ocean?
Well, the biggest difference is there are other factors to understand. And different open water. Well, you said ocean. I was just going to say different open water because there's rivers and lakes and oceans. And so you do have to get to know that environment, which is actually the same thing you do at a pool too. It's just that you may have been exposed to a pool before. You've gone through the steps already. The pools, they have fewer variables, but they still have them. That's what we teach people When you go to a pool, when you go to any body of water, you stop and you arrive and you kind of assess what is what. Where's my space? Where's the right space for me and my current emotional and physical knowledge of myself in the water?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you look at people who surf, they don't just like show up to the beach and then run out there with their surfboard. They usually sit on the shore for a while and they watch. They watch the water. They watch the waves. They see, is this the day and the time and the place for me to go surf? They slow it down. They don't just like assume, even if they've been to that beach before.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more factors that you just have to understand and know about that place. But the water in and of itself is the water.
Mhm.
The principles of the water are the same.
Now, you also train instructors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what qualities do you look for in someone who wants to teach fearful adults?
I mean, you said the biggest one there is that they want to. And they wanted to teach fearful adults. They acknowledge that that's a thing, right? That it is about teaching to the fear and understanding mental concepts and not just physical concepts. So people who are interested in coaching people in terms of speed and distance and fitness, those aren't the folks for us. If those folks have seen, I can teach people fitness and distance, but then there's these other people who they've got something else going on. I want to understand them. It's the people who come in that say, I want to go meet the student where they are and understand them and have compassion for them. And I want to listen and hear from them. So it's a lot of empathy and curiosity. And I think seeking new ways of doing things, that we're not so reliant on old ways of doing things. Society is very, in general, we're rewarded for pushing and going fast. And so it's folks who are looking for, there's something else. There's something a little deeper than just that.
So if somebody's trying to train you for the Olympics, that's not the one.
And it makes you think about the people that's on the swim team,
Mm-hmm.
or they are preparing for the
Mm-hmm.
Olympics. Okay. Because they got to have their mind and their body connected to do it. And I always wonder, how do you know when not to hit the wall on the other side of it? You know what I'm saying? Do they count the
They
strokes?
can see, and isn't there a stripe or something on the
Okay. All right. But it's like it's just in perfect time, and they'll go and then they'll dip and come back. And
those people are in the water swimming every day
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a ridiculous amount of hours.
Yeah, let's just call them fish.
It's like, do you know how you can probably walk around your house if the power goes off and not hit a piece of furniture?
They know it.
That's the same way they feel in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
And you were right. There's a line on the bottom of the pool that tells them when the wall is.
I watch the Olympics a lot, and I watch the swimming stuff, so that's why I knew.
I did not even know that.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this, the line doesn't go all the way to the wall. It stops before you get to the wall.
Mm.
And there's a little T there. And they know that distance from the end of the T to the wall is the same in all pools. And so, yes, they have learned how to time their stroke for that perfect flip.
Oh, I learned something. Getting over my fear already.
You planning to participate in the 2028 Olympics, and you haven't told me about it?
Oh, you were asking me? I thought you were asking
No,
her.
I'm talking about how to figure that out.
I was waiting to see what your response would be. I'm like, oh, she's going to the Olympics.
No, I'm asking you.
Not me, not me. I was just swimming in Alaska and they were like, okay. So when on the race, I'm like, can we stop calling it a race? Because I'm not interested in racing. It's an event. I'm here to participate in this swimming event. Thank you very much.
How do you swim in Alaskan waters?
I'm not sure that. I don't know. It's cold. I think it's the assumption.
All the time?
It's cold, but it's the same. The ocean water where I was, anyways, in Alaska, is the same as it is here. So yeah, that's a whole nother conversation of
No,
cold
We
water
do have to
swimming.
come back for that. What's your big picture vision for adult swim education in the next 10 years?
Mm. Well, that's a big question, Mike. For me, for the world, I mean, I really,
I think the question
I go out and
is,
talk
if you
about this.
had the opportunity to say, this is where I think my vision of what I'm doing is going, but not only in your business, but trending outside of the adult swimming learning possibilities, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think in many, many industries, just even that the word somatic healing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think the more we can bring mindful attention and tuning in and caring for ourselves in the process of an activity, be it swimming or bicycling or running a business or parenting, right? All these different areas of our life, the more we can stay in touch with how to take care of our nervous system while we are engaged in life, the more we are tuned into having joy and feeling good while we're doing something, that we're moving away from that constant feeling of fear and knowing how to move towards joy. That's our, when you asked about retreats, the other retreat we do is we do a joy retreat in Mexico.
Mhm.
But the more that we can do that in our life, I think, the better the world will be,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, our news cycle, what does it do? It's about keeping us fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And this, in my opinion, makes us easy to manipulate and to hate our neighbors instead of love our neighbors. So yeah, it's not just swimming, it's bigger than swimming, but that is that when you talk about trending, I mean, I see that in other industries. And I think the more we can put that in as many industries as possible, I think it'll just be more transformative and healing for ourselves and for our communities and for our planet.
The next time I get in water,
Yeah,
my whole thinking process gonna be different.
I'm gonna be there with my camera rolling.
It's gonna be different because I never really just
Thought about those
sat and
things.
took it. I would sit on side.
Like I said, I've seen you in the pool. I've never seen you swimming.
When you don't even, she can be in the pool and walk in the water and just
Mhm.
feel what it feels like to walk in the water with this kind curiosity. Like, yeah, you don't have to swim.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What really made me nervous was laying on my back when I was taking my
Like all that.
water aerobic,
Yeah.
and they put me on my back, and my instructor was telling me just breathe, just relax. And when I started allowing my body to relax,
Mhm.
I could hear the water.
And that freaked you out?
No, it did help to calm me
Oh,
down.
I understood.
Yeah,
what
I
you
could
said, yeah.
hear the water. But when I first was on my back, it's like I was stiff. And she was like,
Floating.
yeah,
Floating.
floating on my
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Just relax. Just relax. I'm like, don't go to sleep. Just relax.
I love the floating water more than swimming. It is a very nice experience. In the whole idea of mental health and stuff, it's like it's a place where you can actually quiet the mind
Mm-hmm.
because you have to be aware of your body so that it can stay straight,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can float. And it's so I hadn't thought about it, but as I think about the times that it's a place where you can just connect with your body and
Yes.
calm your mind.
Yes.
I need to find a
Wait, I'm gonna interject something here because I don't want to instill a belief
okay
that you have to be straight in the water.
to
You
float.
do not have to be straight in the water.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go to sleep at night,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be straight in your bed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
No.
You wouldn't know it because you're not what you said, you're not relaxed.
Right.
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 So it's counterintuitive.
Okay.
And so people are like, okay, I'm holding my body really flat and straight in the water. Why am I not relaxed? Well,
That makes sense.
yeah. because you're telling yourself you have to be straight in the water.
And that's why Mason can't float very well. Because, no, I'm serious.
Okay, I mean, I'm with you.
No, because the teacher has been telling him to be straight, and me trying to help him. I keep telling him to be straight, and all I have to tell him is to be relaxed. No, the light bulb went off.
It makes sense. It does.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. People think that floating should be horizontal and flat like that. But the truth is the body naturally goes like this, right? I'm holding my fingers stiff, so I'm flat and straight, but that's not at ease.
Mm-hmm.
This is at ease and your body is droopy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you want to go fast through the water, we do get ourselves aerodynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But to start with, we have to know it's safe. It's okay if my body's a little droopy like this.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm
I
demonstrating.
learned something.
I learned a
Yeah.
lot.
And by the way, not everybody floats. And that's okay too.
Okay, that I didn't know.
I do. I'm a float.
Why? No, I can't. I didn't know not everybody
I
can
didn't know
float.
that
I
either.
didn't know that either.
Yeah. Olympic swimmers, our fastest swimmers in the world, if they were to just stop moving and go limp, they would sink.
Wow. Said
Now, here's the key thing before it scares you, though, is that it's not a problem because when they would sink, they'd be calm about it. They'd be present. They'd be saying, yeah, here I am, totally safe. I can feel the air that I have. And then they, with ease, say, let me do the smallest amount of work and effort to come to the top when I want to take a breath.
And
It's this state of,
be the same way.
what's that?
Divers, probably.
Yeah. Well, divers. So when like springboard divers or scuba divers?
No, the springboard.
Springboard divers, yeah, they cut through the water.
Yes, they do.
Right. They go down real fast. And yeah, I mean, our body, it's about density.
Okay.
So the more dense your body is, the less buoyant it is. That's why hands and feet on most people aren't buoyant. That's why they droop down. And it's normal. And it's not an emergency. It's a normal way that your body functions. And then that's a foundational piece of information. From there, then you could do something to move your body when you want to, but it's good to know that it's not an emergency.
She just blew my mind.
I know.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We've learned
a lot.
Way more than we thought we would. Thank you for sharing everything. And I hope that, our listeners learned a lot. I know we did. And for those who don't have access to our YouTube, can you tell us your website for those who want to reach you?
Sure. So our website is adultswimlesson.com, like one swim lesson, adultswimlesson.com.
Adultswimlesson.com.
Yeah. It's such a reminder that everything starts in the mind before it reaches the body.
Cory, your work is so beautiful.
It is.
Okay. And I say that very confidently. And it's a beautiful reminder that growth often starts in the mind.
Absolutely.
Before it ever reaches the body.
Yeah. And that, with the lessons we learn, facing our fears, you can start with, water, but it can translate to the other areas of your life. And that's the amazing thing. And whether it's in water, you can definitely grow and ripple out of anything you do.
Definitely. Cory, thank you for sharing your insight with us and with our audience. Thank you for sharing your heart and your hope with us and our listeners. I
appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow Thrive by the Rising Muse on your favorite podcast platform and on social media. We are at the Rising Muse everywhere.
And we're on a mission to hit 1,000 subscribers. I know people may be laughing, but we take it a little bit at a time, okay? And we are very appreciative of our subscribers. But help us get to 1,000. You can help us by subscribing, sharing our videos with your friends, and leave us a comment.
Hmm. And before we go, we want to remind you that if you experience a mental health crisis, please dial 988. And if it's a loved one who is experiencing a mental health crisis, please dial 911 or take them to the nearest emergency room.
And if you think you're in a domestic violence relationship and you need to talk or need assistance, you can call 800-799-7233 or text 887-888. Please make sure you're in a safe place when you're reaching out for help.
And remember, your healing, your growth, and your calm are worth the dive. Until next time, don't forget to thrive. Have a blessed day. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.